So what you just watched there was a short clip from one of my recent videos. Now, for a lot of these videos where I use this particular setup, people actually comment saying how smooth my gimbal footage is. Well, the funny thing is, it's not shot on a gimbal, and that's news to you if you're just watching this video for the first time, but for anyone who's been subscribed, they will know the setup I use, but have been waiting patiently to see it. So here it is. It's a chin cam. And yes, it is as simple and basic as it looks. There's nothing special about it. It's just this position happens to be really, really good for getting a very immersive view of mountain biking. This is the Fox Pro Frame full face helmet and the GoPro Hero 6. Now, not everyone is going to have both these items, so there's no point in me making a video of exactly how I done it. Instead, I'll just show you roughly what I done, and you can work it out for yourself for any kind of setup that you've got. You don't have to use this helmet, you don't have to use this camera. This is just what I've used. For me, I used a GoPro, which is actually a pole designed to go off the top of a helmet and like be a boom that then you can mount a camera on and face back. Instead, I mounted that inside. Now, the Fox Pro Frame, the inside is all a soft kind of foamy rubber. So what I done was I cut the foam just a little bit narrower than the pole, and then I slotted it in. At that point, I then basically ran some silicone in there just to hold it and also to take some of the vibration out, and then just basically trimmed the top so that it doesn't get in the way of my vision. Couple of holes through and some cable ties, good old trusty cable ties, just to finish it all off. And that is as simple as it gets. Now, you'll notice that I've actually got the thumb screw about as high as it can go to the underside of the chin piece. The reason I've done this is because you do get short extension pieces that you can add on and change the position to what you want. The only thing is, if you go too far down, there's not much you can do, you can't go any higher. So as long as I've got this mounted as high as possible, I can extend to suit to get the camera further down and further back if I want to. So the reason why I decided to use a chin cam setup is I wanted something that had the pros of a chest cam or a gimbal, and also the pros of a helmet cam. Now, the good things about a gimbal are it's really stable, it's buttery smooth, and it's very pleasant to watch. However, you don't see what the rider is seeing. So say I go past something off to the side of the trail, I would have to literally turn my whole torso consciously to enable the camera to see what I'm seeing. And sometimes that just can't happen. And sometimes I forget. Sometimes I think if I can see it, then the camera can see it. But with a gimbal, that is not the case. So it's very stable, but it doesn't always point where you're going, and it can dull down the trail, which is not good. I want as much credit for my riding as possible. I don't want to have people thinking it's an easy trail if it's a really hard trail. And then when it comes to the camera on the helmet, most people mount it up top and you get a little bit of the visor in. But sometimes in some shots you don't even see the handlebars. So you don't see the handlebars, you don't see the trail. And again, you're not seeing how hard the trail is. However, the good things are, where you look, the camera looks. So if you're speaking to someone or looking at something off the trail, then the helmet cam is the way to go. So by putting the camera on the chin, you are still being able to see where you're looking because it is mounted to your head, so you can see what you're looking at. But it's also low enough where you can get the bars in, you can get the trail in, and hopefully it'll do the trail a little bit more justice. Now, that brings me on to why I use the Hero 6. Now, you can use any camera that you want within reason, as long as it's an action camera and small enough. You can maybe mount a DSLR on it. Good luck to you if you do. I went for the Hero 6 because I already had that, and it's got electronic image stabilization, which on paper is not very good, but actually in reality it's extremely good, and GoPro have actually done something really, really good with that new GP1 chip, etc, etc. But the image stabilization is really good. So that's why I use the Hero 6. So that brings me on to the settings that I use for the Hero 6. Now I shoot 4K, 30 frames a second in super view. 4K just because it's basically future proof. In the future we might be running 6K or 8K, and anything that's been filmed at 1080 will look quite outdated probably in the next few years. So shooting at the highest resolution possible, it's future proofing within reason. 30 frames a second, the Hero 6 can technically do 60 frames a second in 4K. You go for the lowest frame rate possible that you can, and that will give you the best image quality. Now I'm not shooting anything for cinematography, so I shoot at 30 frames. If I was going to make it just for movies, I would maybe consider going down to 24 frames a second. And super view, because ultimately I want to get as much of the handlebars and the trail in as possible without losing the horizon. So super view, it basically stretches the image out. So by shooting in super view, I am getting the most immersive view possible from this location. Obviously I switch image stabilization on. You've got to make sure that's on, because there is a couple of times I've actually filmed with this and I forgot to switch image stabilization on, and you really do notice, so make sure that's switched on. The next thing is I do go into manual audio control and I switch it to stereo only. If you put it on wind only, what happens is it tries to find out what's going on, so it'll listen to the microphones and constantly change to try and block out the mic that's actually got the wind noise. This camera actually I think has 3 microphones, and what actually happens is you hear the audio change all the time, and it's not very effective, and it kind of dulls things down. So yeah, that's the settings that I use on the GoPro, and it works really, really well. When it comes to audio, there are actually technically 4 options that you can use. You can use the camera all on its own, bare shell, and to be honest, GoPro has actually done a firmware update sometime in the summer, and it's actually very, very usable. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. The Hero 6 gets quite a slagging for its bad audio, and it used to be horrendous, but now it's actually not too bad. However, you do get the wind noise, and that's where this wee guy comes in, a remote view wind cover. This is actually designed for the Hero 4, but it fits in the Hero 6 just fine. Now you basically just slide that over the entire camera and pop the lens out the front, and what that does is that gives a wind cover for all the microphones, and it takes a lot of the wind noise out. That makes the audio even more usable. I love these kind of trails. Oh, that's different. So that's the 2 most simple setups, and those setups actually keep the camera waterproof. The next setup is actually to remove the side door on the GoPro and use this unsightly, hideous GoPro official adapter. Unfortunately, this is the only adapter that works with the GoPro, because the GoPro actually records audio in a digital format and not analog like every other camera would, so you do need to use this. Now this basically, through USB-C, plugs into the ports on the side of the camera, and I personally mount the block on the back of the GoPro, which I use to mount the GoPro on. For my particular setup, I use a Rode SmartLav Plus, and that is actually designed for an iPhone, so you need to use a 3.5mm jack adapter that goes into the audio adapter, and then the lavalier mic plugs into that adapter. And I actually mount the lavalier mic in its windproof cover up into one of the air vents on the helmet. That provides better audio, definitely with less wind. That's actually a very good result, and you can hear other people talking, the good trail noise, and overall it's pretty good. However, when the wind gets up, a lavalier mic, even with the wind cover on it, doesn't cope too well, and you do get a bit of wind noise. So yes, that is a beautiful view. See for miles. Got an enormous sense of achievement. But ultimately, this is not for mountain bikes, especially a trail bike. It's a nice loose rock, gravel. Another compromise is you have the USB cable plugged into the GoPro at all times, and that is exposed and open to getting hits. And if that gets hit, there is a chance you can damage the audio adapter, or worse, the camera as well. Furthermore, it's not waterproof. And I live in Scotland and it rains quite a lot, so this is not a solution for all year round. Which brings me on to my next option for audio. This is a GoPro Hero 4 in a housing with a Sennheiser Elements Mark II back door on it. Now this is an excellent setup. It's a little bit more hassle because obviously you need to record audio separate and sync it in post. You also need to happen to have a Hero 4. This only works with a Hero 4. However, this makes this whole unit waterproof as well, and tied in with the waterproof setup on the helmet cam. No worries about water getting in. The back door actually clips on like any other back door would to a GoPro, and it has the mic built in. The mic is actually on a flexible mount, so that eliminates any vibration noise, and then that goes into a wind cover, but it's a kind of hard bristle foam sponge, and that slides over the mic, and hey presto, you have some incredible audio. This is actually some of the best audio that I've ever heard on anyone's videos for mountain bike riding. And never underestimate the importance of good audio. People will actually watch relatively crap footage as long as the audio is not too bad. But if the audio is terrible, people will just zone out within 30 seconds and probably switch off the video. So don't underestimate the value of having good audio. So the audio out of this is really, really good. It basically picks up all the surrounding atmosphere noise. Okay. Nice. A problem with other videos that I've made as well without using this is you might be having a conversation with someone who's only 3 or 4 foot away, but unfortunately whatever audio source you're using at the time might not be able to pick up what they're saying. However, this thing is incredible at doing that, and you can save you having to put subtitles in, and it just makes everything, makes you feel as if you're actually there by watching the videos.
Keep on the back of your tire, it'll be fine, everything can go well.
He's braking, oh shit, he's braking.
Yeah. I was like, this is really fast. At some point this is going to turn. When is it going to... Oh, no.
Oh yeah, it's a brake.
So I actually mount this on my chest in this manner, and I have the mic pointing up the way and slightly out the way. So it's further down towards the trail, so you pick up the trail noise, but the mic is pointing up, so when I speak you should be able to hear it fairly clearly. Now, everything that you've seen in this video I have tried to link into Amazon with some affiliate links, so if you want any one of these items or all of these items, then please go through the affiliate links in the description. It costs you nothing extra, but I get a little boost and it'll help me make more videos and maybe get a couple of spares for when I break these things. So I think I've covered everything. Everything that I can think of off the top of my head, but no doubt I'll have forgotten something. So if you can think of anything or you got any questions, hit me up in the comments. That's the beauty of YouTube. You can interact and find out some more information that I've maybe missed out. Equally, if there's anything that you guys know of that I quite clearly don't, then let me know, because I'm always trying to improve and I'm forever chasing the perfect setup. At the moment it's always a compromise, so we'll see what the future brings. Technology's pushing on all the time, so yeah. If you've come here just for this video and you quite liked some of the shots that I've overlaid in the video, have a look at some of my previous videos and see what you think. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the trail. No, I can't do that. That's Brian's. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.